welcome to McCloud Mountain. And this is both a special and probably very unique weekend that Alana and I have here. It's our 23rd anniversary this weekend, and we booked a room here, 7th Heaven Suite at the McCloud Mountain Lodge and Restaurant. The B-roll you just saw is of our room, which did include a view. I'll turn around here, but I don't know with the highlights. I don't have a screen. I don't know how well you can see it. That's Lake Norris off in the distance. And if you know that area very well, in the sort of northern Tennessee, just above Knoxville area, there's a lot of state parks and really cool things that we may go check out. I just don't know. I'm not even sure how much talking or what kind of video this is going to be. Maybe it's not one at all. Although, if you're seeing this, I've probably put some kind of video together. So anyway, super excited to be here. Really cool place. And yeah, either here comes some more or maybe this never happens. Find out right now.
Well, I did say early on that I likely wasn't going to talk much during this video, and I held true to that. You see, I just wanted to focus on celebrating the anniversary with Alana, and taking the pictures and doing the video really isn't the big distractions. It's really doing the small talking and little bit in between there. So I wanted to avoid that. That being said, I wanted to come back and wrap up and kind of tell you how Mount McCloud or McCloud Mountain works, how it used to work, and kind of how things are now. First off, Alana and I had visited there, I'm thinking 3, 4, maybe 5 years ago. It was a jeeping excursion, and then we were heading our way back along 25, the very long and windy way home, as we so regularly do. We saw a sign for it and we stopped. It's a closed gate community other than the lodge and restaurant that's up there. But the person that was manning the gate said, hey, if you're going to show patronage or you're going to stop in and eat at the lodge, you can go ahead and go up, check out the skywalk and everything. Well, we're always up for another breakfast, so we did a second breakfast or a brunch again before we checked everything out. And Alana and I said, we'd like to come back and visit it again. With COVID and all the craziness, we thought that that would be one of the easiest things for us to do to celebrate our anniversary, and thus this visit. This was our first time staying at the lodge, and when it comes to the lodge, it was very, very nice. No complaints at all with our room. It was magnificent. The view was great, and while the weather didn't really play along, meaning it wasn't stormy or ugly enough to make for really cool views or photos of the view, but at the same time, it was just rainy and ugly enough that we didn't go exploring or do any other hiking. So, bottom line, room great. Highly recommend the lodge portion. The average room there is right about $200 a night at the time of this video. Our room, the 7th Heaven Suite or whatever with the 4-poster bed, ran a little bit more than that, and some are a little bit less than that average. That being said, to make the room work, the restaurant becomes very important. The local town there where we went to do some antiquing and shopping that you likely saw in the video earlier, it's like 20-30 minutes to get to, depending on how you go and how hard you're willing to drive in the corners and up and around the mountains. So it's not that usable for food, and if you're having a weekend like what we were, you really just wanted to stay there local and enjoy it. When it comes to the restaurant, like I said, before we showed up, talked to a gentleman at the gate. He let us up and we had breakfast and it went great. Now all dinners, all meals, all breakfasts, all of it is by reservation only. And that includes if you're staying at the lodge. In advance, we had to decide what meals we were actually going to have there and then sort of be committed to that. Because we didn't know what we were going to do with our Saturday, we only planned the Friday night arrival dinner and then Sunday morning before we left breakfast. When it comes to those meals, sadly, I do not have the praise that I had for the lodge side, and for all sorts of reasons. This is the first place that Alana and I have traveled to where we felt that they just were not in any way, shape, or form taking COVID-19 seriously, and it even really bothered us. Most of the masks were worn down on their chins, if at all. And that includes in the kitchen. When I went to go wash my hands, I noticed I looked back in the kitchen and no one was wearing masks. Beyond that, the food was pretty pricey, and by that I mean I had a 10-ounce sirloin top steak and some sides. Alana had some ribs, and that meal came to over $80 before tip, and the food was just not worth it. I don't mind spending a lot for a meal by any means. As you can tell, I've been piling on weight lately, but it just wasn't worth it. The steak was overdone, yet didn't have crust. The ribs were so tough that Alana had a hard time pulling them apart, let alone falling off the bones. And then that was repeated in breakfast. When we went back for breakfast, it looked good when it came down in front of us, but little things like the hash browns were cold. And I don't mean not warm, I mean cold. They were still cold. So I just, between cleanliness, the people, the staffing, and then the price and the food quality, was really, really let down by the restaurant portion of it. And like I say, I think that's a huge piece to making a trip worth it. That being said, amazing views, nice little hikes, cool place to explore. And if you came with food packed, because our room did have a fridge and a microwave, you could just sort of settle in there and plan on hiding out in your room, then it might make it worth it. But I don't know, all things considered, check it out if you like. There's how it went for us. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, please be sure to give me a like. If you like the videos I'm doing, please be sure to give me a subscribe. And I do ask that you also hit the notifications there so you get future videos. That's all I have to say on this one. Thanks for following along. See you later. Bye-bye.